step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless.
All right, this is Keep Hammering Collective with John and Jenn Rivet. How are you guys doing?
Again.
I know, again.
Well, it was a year ago here.
Yeah.
But we did bear camp.
Then we did the bear camp at the skinning table.
Yeah, that was cool. That was fun. That's
Something
in our element
different.
there. Yeah.
I know. I love it.
That's the Rivets version of lift, run, shoot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right? We lift bears, we lift bait, we run after bears, we run after bears that are
We
dying,
run after Cam.
run
Yeah.
after
After
bears that
bear.
are stealing beavers, and then we
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You did chase I heard she chased the bear off to get the beaver back or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Jen's pretty handy out there. And plus those beavers, hey, those are valuable. We can't just have those, until we're ready to sit and have a work and have them maybe rip pieces off of it. We can't have them take a whole beaver off.
A big old sow came in and she thought, hey, I'm going to grab this. And what I didn't expect is she grabbed most of it and only left a tiny little piece. And I was like, hey, we haven't even sat yet.
Yeah, we need that back, ma'am.
So kind of chased her off. Gave her a little piece, said, here, go, be happy, and hung the other one back up so we'd have something to sit with. But.
So did you hear anybody talk about if they liked the bear meat or not from the event?
Oh,
that was some of the
unbelievable.
best bear meat I've ever had.
It was so good. I mean, that's all anybody could talk about too, was how good the bear was.
Yeah.
And those the hams off my bear that I killed 2 bears with you guys this year. And we had 2 full hams. And how did you prepare those? Because it was the hit of the show.
The basic thing is just like any other meat. From the time you kill it, skin it, butcher it, all of that stuff, it starts right from there. So right after you got the bear, we skinned it, we butchered it out, we got it into the freezer, trimmed it all up nice.
Yep.
Then we got down here. It's with the bear, I like to marinate it. Some people don't, some people do. I like to marinate it for a couple days, just break it down, give it some good flavor. This way, when people try it for the first time, it's like, hey, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
Beyond the misconception of, ooh, gross, it has diseases and it has this and it has that. Well, probably pretty much any meat or protein you get, whether it's salmon, chicken, pork, they can carry some sort of parasite or worm or whatever, but this bear was clean.
Yeah, I think it's, I think people eat chicken and fish and everything else all the time. So it's just bear is unique already.
And if you looked at that under a microscope, you wouldn't need it.
Oh, right.
You'd see everything moving.
And especially, like I said, like where chickens are raised, like in the processing plant there, or wherever, it's just, they're stacked on top of each other.
They are.
We've been in some.
one of those.
Just nasty.
Pretty gross.
Yeah.
Then whereas where you look at where these bear live, it's middle of nowhere, most pristine
Such
wilderness.
clean food.
Yeah. And clean food. So it just that, if you're thinking on surface level about where they lived before they died, okay, bear has a big advantage, but people just don't have bear. And then what they've heard of bears, it's greasy, bear's terrible meat, or you're going to get trichinosis.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things I hear from people who don't know.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, or if somebody comes up and says, bear is exactly like pork, I'm going to be like, you can do the same cuts as pork, but obviously you've never had bear, you've never seen bear, you've never worked with bear meat. Especially in the hams and stuff, like a bear is an animal that's full of muscle. I mean, and they use their muscle, right? For digging, for climbing, for foraging, for everything they do, defending during the rut, everything, they use their muscle. So that's why I like to marinate it, is just so when somebody tries it for the first time, you can I'll take the back strap, take it out, season it, put it in the fridge for a day, and then we'll throw it on the Traeger, and it'll be fantastic. Yeah. But when somebody hasn't had it, you just don't want ooh, it was okay. Just like your event, we didn't want it to be, ooh, it was okay. We went, wow, this was freaking awesome. This is amazing.
You pulled out all the stops.
You pull it out because the grain of the meat, I guess the closest thing I could relate it to would be like a big moose or a bison, because the grain is quite thick, quite heavy, because it's a very muscular animal. It's not like some beef where it's just like, hey, we're going to eat some grass, we're going to lay down. Yeah. This is chill. Like they constantly move. Yeah.
And I think like a beef or a cattle, because they're not working all the time, there's a lot of fat in the muscle. Or whereas bear have fat, it's outside of the muscle, but the muscle is, like you said, they're using it all the time. And if you see them, they can go full speed running on the ground and pretty much same speed right up a tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like they are athletes. They can move.
Muscles intertwined, like just everything. Like look when you're skinning out the paw and stuff, when you cut the tendons and stuff by the paw, it's like they're massive. if that was in a human, like, I don't know what the strength would be, but that would be pretty incredible.
Just look at those cubs, and from when they're born, they spend most of their life in the tree.
Yeah.
Constantly climbing a tree
Up
to get
and
away
down,
from something.
up and such a good workout.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And I know I always wanted to see like what a bear could bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it could bench a lot of weight.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah.
I bet you could train one.
Just talking one into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see some of the stuff they move, big giant trees or big boulders to get at something, to get at some grubs. And
Yeah. Or tearing up before when you used to have bigger holes in the 55-gallon drums, like for bait, they just rip those holes open.
Yeah.
Not
Or
like-
stick one nail in it and spin it. Did you notice that? And how much, like for me, even if it's 3/4 full, just to kind of get it standing back up so you have something to judge. They'll walk up, put one claw in it and start to spin it and move it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
a
a
mouse.
full barrel is 350 to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
So with one claw, they're moving a whole barrel around.
Yeah, spinning it around.
so strong. But yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to start off this podcast, is just addressing bear meat and just how palatable it is if it's prepared right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people, you know, like I said, you had some down at the bow rack. I think you had sliders, right?
Yeah.
Was it bear meat sliders?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I mean, you had some really good meat there, some beef that you bought.
Yeah.
I think tomahawks. And then what was the bacon? Like
pork
the
belly burnt ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sweet
God,
heat
those are good.
ones. Yeah.
But still, even against those type of
Yeah.
meats and cuts,
Yeah.
that the bear meat was still what people were talking
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah. It's a not. I don't want to say it's a novelty, but it is. It's like if you go somewhere and you've never tried something, but
Yeah.
you've heard a lot of talk. It's like, okay, we can try it safely here, and if we like it, cool. But if we don't, we can stash
Yeah.
it away and not have to make a big deal out of it. It's not like if you're sitting at my table and I give you just a bear steak and you're like,
Yeah.
can I be excused for a minute? But no, everybody
Put it in your
loved
napkin.
Yeah, everybody loved it. And I mean,
Yeah.
the bear itself, once you marinate it, it depends. It's not a super dry meat, but when you marinate it, you infuse a lot more flavor and moisture in it. And then how I smoke it, I'll smoke it on the Traeger for about 10, 12 hours overnight. And then in the morning, I'll put it into a big roaster with some more liquid and a bunch of little special little things that I put in there, cover it up and let it smoke for a little bit more. So this way it stays really super moist.
Yeah.
So when you pull it apart, you can almost look like cheese strings if you leave it whole and you just peel it apart.
Yeah, up at Bear Camp that you cooked, and I think you marinated it for, was that 13 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
And that kind of pulled apart like it was kind of like roast beef a little bit, is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so good, so flavorful. And yeah, I mean, if people don't take anything else away from this discussion, just, hey, give bear meat a shot.
I know.
It's
I'm
amazing
so fed up.
meat.
We don't get as many now, but on this last post, there was a couple comments of, why would you even want to eat bear? It's not even good anyways.
Yeah.
What?
I
did you hear
get
that?
so irritated because people like say that with so much conviction.
Yeah,
And it's
I
like,
know.
do you even know what you're talking?
Yeah.
Why are you acting like you're like
Exactly.
the expert on this?
Yeah.
When obviously you're
Probably never
not.
seen
Yeah.
a bear alive.
Yeah. And it's, so they come to this place where like you can't even, oh, why would you question it?
Mm.
It sounds like you know. Oh, no, you
Yeah.
don't know. Otherwise you'd say it was good meat.
Yeah.
But
They just repeat things that they've heard.
Yeah.
Or even from some people that think they're knowledgeable in it that haven't experienced it. Well, I heard this, and it was from a guy that was,
Yeah.
whatever,
A lot
an
of just
expert in
repeating
it.
stuff they've heard from
Yeah.
other people, like bear tastes like pork and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Bear don't have good eyesight. No, bears have about the same eyesight as a
Yeah.
human. They have really
Yeah.
good eyesight.
yeah.
Actually, an animal that tastes like pork and cooks like pork is mountain lion.
Yeah.
Very similar. I mean, even the coloration of the meat is very similar,
little
but
lighter.
very lean,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
lean, but delicious there again. And that's another one. Could possibly carry trichinosis, just like your farm-raised pork could. The chances of it, probably very slim.
I'm going to
Yeah.
test the bear. One of the next bears we get, I'm going to get it tested just to show that it probably doesn't even have trichinosis.
Probably
at all
not.
in it.
I know
Not
Joe
up
said
there.
at one point he wanted to test some and,
Yeah.
and
And
cook
yeah.
a medium
eat it
rare.
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like, I mean, you know, I've killed deer or elk in the backcountry, cooked it over a fire just on a stick. I would say in that setting, probably a bear backstrap, I would like elk better. In that, if you're going head to head, cooking over a fire,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when it has time to be prepared, marinated, cooked how you cook it on the Traeger or even in the Instapot here, like that we have, then it almost passes deer and elk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the preparation is the key to it. The meat
Yeah.
is quality. Just cut it right out of the animal might take second place to deer or elk, but man, it passes it. I think when they prepare it like you do.
We have some guys that's their number one. They
Yeah.
would rather just eat beer because they know that the nutrient density is so high in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you think say like all the ungulates, they're eating the grasses and, you know, that type of stuff. But the bear, they're eating berries, they're eating little critters, they're eating grass, they're eating like such a variety of food that, like, I mean, even their fat. So we talked about the meat a little bit. The fat in the spring, we still get some big old boars that have quite a bit of fat, like 2 maybe even 3 inches of fat.
Left over from last fall.
From their denning. We'll take and slice that all off. We'll take it on the trigger, we'll render it all, and it comes out perfectly white like your pork lard. And you can bake with it. You can fry eggs in it, fry steak in it, whatever you want. Put it on your skin.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's not an odory thing. It's not. It would be equal with beef tallow. Like I just got some beef tallow from Lisa, and it was just like it's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same. And I think if bear. It's funny. I think if bear didn't have the name bear in front of the meat, people would be like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like you make up some corny, whatever Latin name and throw it on it and say, oh, this is this.
A lot of people think garbage dump. They think a dump bear.
Yeah.
They've seen bears at the dump.
Yeah, that's true. It's I mean, I want to also say that you guys are here because you were here for my lift, run, shoot event.
It was awesome.
You cooked all the meat for everybody, and I'm so thankful that you were part of it, because I want people to come here and experience what I do, but also what I do is, you know, I'm friends with you guys.
Eat meat.
And we hunt together. So it's like, we're more like family. So it's like, this is part of me too, is the Rivets here. And so I know it's a big ask and everything coming down from Alberta, but man.
Yeah. Bear season ended on June 15th. We had her mom's 75th birthday on June 15th. Jen planned it all. And then we were packed up. The camper was already there at her mom's, and the next morning we started driving this way.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was hard, but you guys make the event. It's like, that's almost one of the biggest talking points of the event is your presence and your cooking and your family. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'm very appreciative. So it was.
We are too.
Yeah, it was a great time.
We love it. But what you just said about family, well, that's why we wanted to come down. You're like, hey, the first time, you know, maybe cook some bear. You're like, come check it out. It'll be great to be here. And I was like, and then we started talking about menu and planning and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, we just don't want, again, just fans. Hey, this was cool. This was a nice event. We want people to be like, wow, this was awesome. Like, this is above board. One pastor we listened to years ago said, do you want fans, or do you want raving fans? He says there is a difference.
For sure.
And when
raving
you have
fans will tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, you should tell them this or you should tell them that. It's like, no, they loved it. Whether it was, you know, a run, food, an event, whatever. They're like, hey.
Yeah.
You can't buy that advertising.
No, and it's like, it's not just what we're advertising. You know, you get a bow, you get to do all the stuff with me. It's the little things to me that make it special. It's like you guys with the meat. It's Wayne.
Yeah.
You know Wayne.
Yes.
He can just get up there and, you know, he said the prayer before dinner, I think that one night. And it's just like, I said, man, you always do such a good job at this. And he's just like, it's not me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, he prayed about it for a couple of days for God, God to help him.
Right. So it's that type of influence and impact on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put that in a flyer.
No.
You could say, hey, come to this because here, Wayne's going to, you know, have these great words that you're probably going to carry home with you and think about. I mean, you can't put that in there, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
So it's these things that are just, they're ancillary parts of the event, but they make the event what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I don't know. It's, I'm sure people are talking about all of it, but you never know
I think it makes it so when somebody comes to an event, especially your event that you just had, you're not just a number. You know, you're just like, hey, you're number 5 that signed up or whatever. It's like you're here, you're important, you're a part of it. And then everybody that, you know, that was teaching the little areas or with Wayne or with you, it's like direct. It's like you're here for a reason. We want to interact and we want to teach you and we want to know about you. And it was really good.
So one of the highlights of the event for me was Jen's idea of, hey, let's get Cam to shoot an apple out of a pig's mouth.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, so here's my question to you. So you're going to shoot the apple out of that pig's mouth. Are you nervous when you get to something like that now? Because you can't fail. Like, you got to hit that apple. And you hit it dead center, too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
no,
you did it.
I'm not nervous, but, you know, shooting a bow, it's not guaranteed.
No.
It's tough. Yeah. But I like, you know, when I'm shooting out here or just shooting by myself, you can lose focus sometimes. Yeah. And, you know, I make bad shots, but I used to, when I did the grand opening for Cabela's and stuff, I made this. They just wanted me to cut the ribbon. I'm like, let me shoot it. So then all these I know the pressure's on, but to me, that's what prepares me for when it matters, like if I'm killing an animal. Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't really get too nervous, but I did take a couple shots at that distance with my broadhead just to make sure, okay, we're right on. Yep. So if I do what I'm supposed to do, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be good if I stuck one in the pig's eye.
No.
Yeah.
Miss the apple. Had to go yard it out. Let me try again, guys. Yeah. So yeah, it worked out.
Wayne went through both of our bows and shooting, like I'm grouping at 100 yards. I'm hitting that little orange spot.
Yeah.
Out of my 5 shots, one of them goes into it at
every
100
time.
Yards.
Yeah,
so
that's impressive.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, you guys are good shots. I mean,
if Wayne sets it up and it's lined up and everything is, I mean, he paper tunes it in like 2 shots. It's insane. Yeah. I've been to places where it's an hour to paper tune something.
For sure.
Wayne, it's a couple shots and it's paper tuned. It's shooting perfect bullet hole.
So
when you shoot that at 100 yards, you see the difference. And even the sound of the bow, makes, you know that it's shooting good.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming out straight.
What bow do you have right now? Is it?
I've got the RX 7.
The carbon.
Yeah, carbon.
Yeah, that's a good bow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just getting back into it. I hadn't been able to shoot for those about 3 years. So last year when I was down, I just started to shoot a little bit. And really didn't have much time last fall because there was a grandbaby that came into the picture. So for me, hunting kind of got put on the back burner a little bit because grandbabies only happen once. So I took about a month just with her.
We wanted to get some bears for ourselves this spring, but it was too busy. We had to get caught up from all those COVID years of no clients. So we took a lot of clients and got
just
amazing success. We averaged 7-foot bears again.
Yeah, tell me about
pretty crazy.
How many people came through camp? Do you know?
This spring we took 30. Yeah.
30.
And I never know how many bears we kill. I never count how many bears we kill. I just care that we're killing 7+ foot bears.
Big old males. Yeah.
And it depends. Some guys, we have a couple gals too, but mostly guys. Them, it's not about the kill. They want a certain bear. Mm-hmm. Like we've had people with us for 8, 10, 15 years. They want a certain bear. They have bears. Yep. And they're happy. They just want to sit, wait for that
8-footer?
That bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to kill to be successful.
And they're successful. Their success, I should say, is they're there and they have opportunities. I mean, we have the pictures we're showing them. Do the bears always cooperate? Not always. Or the weather or whatever.
Even though you're hunting on bait, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
No.
You know that.
There's no such thing. People would say, oh, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I'm like,
no.
For an average bear, that'll come in to watch bears.
You could kill a 6-foot bear almost every time you sit.
Yeah.
But that would be probably a sow.
Yeah.
It's just not the bear you guys want to kill. Yeah. And I heard you say, or you've said before, you just want an average bear, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a pretty powerful statement, but that's true.
Just under 8 foot this year. We killed bears that go over 8 feet. But
didn't I see a big chocolate?
Yeah.
That was a nice bear.
Good record book, Pope and Young bear.
Yeah, because you also have color phase up there.
Yeah.
I mean, more than you'd think.
Yeah, there is. There's pretty much color phase on every bait. Mm-hmm. So, and now we keep on expanding every year, reaching out, and we're hunting 5,000 square mile area. So we've never hunted at all. You can't even reach most of it. So every year when there's new logging roads going in and stuff, you get in a little deeper and set up a new bait. And it's always exciting because it's bears that have never seen people. You experience some of that.
Oh, it was incredible.
Those bears don't know what a human is. And people think that bears come naturally with a fear of man. No, they don't.
No.
There's no reason for it.
I saw some
Those
comments.
bears don't care that we're sitting there.
No, I saw some comments about that too.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Bear should have a good fear of man. Well, that's if he's being hunted.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been hunted back there.
Yep.
So, they're going to learn it, but they don't have it right now.
Yeah.
That's like our grizzlies. They have no fear of man.
No.
Because there is no hunting of the grizzlies in Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother beast, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why the bears like in Montana and Wyoming are so dangerous and attacking people all the time because they haven't been hunted, or the grizzly bear, I mean.
Yeah.
So you have to give them a reason to be afraid or respect man or whatever else. If they're not hunted, they don't have it. And those, your grizzlies up there too, it's just sucks. There's getting to be so many of them and you can't hunt them.
Yeah.
What bothers me with people too is that they don't think that we're part of that equation of the humans shouldn't be in that equation of animals.
Doesn't make sense. It's like, we've always been here. What are you talking about? Exactly. We've always been hunting. It's just now where people are saying, oh, you don't need to hunt. You can just go. It's like, that's just a recent thing. Mm-hmm.
And in Genesis, God put us in charge of the animals.
Yeah.
He put us in charge of the earth, of taking care of it, managing it.
It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be hunters.
And how many years do you think it's been like when I don't want to say the tides turned a little bit, But I would say probably within the last 30 years, maybe, is when it's been like, oh, well, I don't know if you should hunt. And because before that, the way I grew up, if you didn't hunt, you didn't have food for the winter.
Yeah.
That was just, you needed a moose, you needed an elk, you needed deer, you filled a freezer.
Yeah,
that
even
was
in your life, I mean, if your dad didn't kill a moose.
I mean, that was our main, even my grandpa. My mom was saying when they were young, she was born in the 40s, Grandpa didn't get a moose, there wasn't a lot of meat. They had some dairy cows because he raised them and for milk and stuff. You didn't shoot one of those. You didn't kill one of those because that was your bread and butter, literally. But without a moose or even a bear or whatever, that was the rest of your protein that you'd have for the winter.
Cream and butter.
Yeah. That's the Irish and Scotty. Got to have that.
No, we're definitely a little more. Well, I don't know if we're spoiled, but we're definitely softer nowadays, and people don't have to get out there and earn their or provide for themselves.
Talking about soft, this is pretty soft, but man, I almost got myself a scar, didn't I?
I know. God, you had 2 clips that just went viral, didn't they?
The second clip where I tell the bear what to do and it listens and it backs up a little bit, and it does it. It's at 1.3 million this morning.
Crazy. Yeah. People love that's, but if the truth be told, that's what we love that as much as hunting, killing, doing anything is just seeing and being close to interacting with those animals, animals that we respect and love, like the bears. And when else can you be right there talking to a bear? That's what I look forward to.
With bow hunting, especially, because you're going to be close.
Yeah. It's pretty unique, but those clips are just great. I see people.
I'm gonna have to start posting more. We have hundreds of hours of footage of bears from the last 30 years.
Yeah, and it's not we're not posting the kills. The kill might go up one time. That footage gets appreciated over and over.
Well, and you can actually use it. You can educate people with it. It's like the myth is, if a bear's coming, you yell and you make yourself big and you scream and. It depends on the situation. With that sow that close with those cubs, you're not going to get up and yell and scream and everything because you're going to trigger her and she's probably going to come at you. It's like calm, let her know that you're a human. And does it work all the time? Probably not. I've had it work so far all the time. I'm not going to say it works 100% of the time because I don't know. My 100%'s not done yet.
Every bear's different. Every situation's different. You just got to read it. I mean, you can't panic and scream because I remember, I had my other book, my Boning Trophy Blacktail book, South Cox. He has a section in there, and he snuck in just in California down here. There's a sow with cubs. He was just going to sneak in and take pictures. So he snuck in there, took a picture of the sow while the flash went off, and that triggered her to attack him.
Oh wow!
So he got attacked. So it's just staying calm in the situation. If they're not Again, it depends on how they're acting, but usually like what you did, a calm, direct voice, that's what you want to do because you never know what's going to trigger.
Her cub was in the tree beside us. He was sleeping up in our tree stand. So, which was a tree right beside me. So,
So she wasn't happy that he was there. But, I mean, if you would have started... I realized I didn't say that nicer words when he came back and showed me the video because I'm like, you got grandkids? Like, what are you doing? Then I find out the cub was above. So, you got to alter kind of your behavior. You feed off of them and figure out what you should do.
It would have been the perfect time to get a scar, though. My doctor was with me. He could have took care of me.
Oh,
yeah.
So, was that the one that swiped?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Same one.
I know. That everybody says they watch that footage and then at the end they jump.
I know they do.
Jump scare.
Yeah.
Because she's acting like you never really know. She's got moving around like this, but then they're so fast.
I knew it though. Like I don't do it. Like I could see her ears starting to move back, pinning her ears back, and then she did that.
Little posture.
And then she came out and she did that sideways look. You know that one they pretend they're not looking at you.
Not good.
Yeah.
But so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're amazing animals.
And that was just to test us. Like people are like, oh, what happened after? How do you de-escalate that? There was no de-escalation. That was it.
She wanted to see what you were going to do. Were you going to scream? Were you going to jump?
Just like that one that charged James that did a little.
Yeah, I know. It's a little test
to see if we're going to run or if we're going to fight. Or,
yeah.
Or do you back up? Or they, that whole presence thing?
Yeah. If they do lunge forward and you back up, or they will keep coming.
That's right.
Yeah, they want that reaction. That predator instinct that takes over. You start retreating.
So you have a big predator. You have a female that's protecting her cubs. That's kind of her food source and her baby's food source. That's kind of her little domain. And now you're stuck in the middle of it. And on top of it, you're between her and her cub. So there is quite the cluster of dynamics going on at that moment.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but man, it's a special time being out there. Nothing that night. I know we talked about it on the Skin and Table one, but had a busy night when I killed that my second bear, and just awesome
That was
experience.
crazy. That's where the run came in.
You could tell looking at the meat when we butchered that bear of yours, and you look at the meat, it's like, that's going to be so good. You can just see the color and just how beautiful it was.
Vibrant, deep red, like healthy.
Yeah,
imagine the vitamins and the stuff that's coming out of that.
And right, it carries so much more or holds so much more protein.
Yeah.
Just
dense
so dense.
protein.
Yeah, it's the best. I always say when I eat bear, I feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
I don't know if it's just a placebo effect.
No, it's real. It's true.
Yeah.
We can tell if we're not eating meat, if we're traveling like this and we're not getting our protein or something, all of a sudden we all look at each other like, we need a piece of deer meat. Like,
But it's different. I mean, beef is good, and we've been enjoying nice beef down here because we didn't have a freezer full of deer or whatever this time. But after like 4 or 5 days, it's like, okay, we need protein. And then you have a beef steak. It's good, but it's at the point now again where it's like, Joey pulled out a little piece of deer. It's like, we need to have some steak and eggs because you're missing that. It's just what we're used to. Maybe other people are different, but we're used to having, like, we eat wild game pretty much every day.
Yeah.
In some form or fashion, whether put into a spaghetti or into a roast, steak, whatever. But that's what we have pretty much every day.
Well, up there at bear camp, I mean, it seemed like every meal has some kind of wild game, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
We harvest a moose, and anything that you get at our place normally that's got like any type of ground meat in it, whether it's burgers, spaghetti, lasagna, whatever, it's moose or elk.
Yeah.
I haven't bought ground beef at home for
I don't even know when.
probably 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. Probably 15 years.
Sig Sauer is leading the firearm outdoor industry in American innovation, ingenuity, and manufacturing. For over 250 years, Sig Sauer has evolved and thrived by blending American ingenuity, German engineering, and Swiss precision. SIG is synonymous with industry-leading quality and innovation, which has made it the brand of choice amongst the U.S. military, the global defense community, law enforcement, competitive shooters, hunters, and responsible citizens. That's why I have decided to partner with them for my personal protection and concealed carry of choice. SIG and I are working on some pretty cool collaborations for the archery community as well, and I'm thrilled to have them as a sponsor of the show. SIG is actually offering you guys a discount on optics too, which is unheard of in the industry. I'm looking forward to trying out their new image stabilizing binos, the Zulu 6 on my bear hunt in Alberta with the Rivets. Those are also 10% off using code CAM at sigsauer.com. That's code CAM for 10% off. Montana Knife Company was founded by Josh Smith, one of the world's most experienced master bladesmiths. Josh has been making knives for 30 years, and there's something really special in supporting companies that are made in the USA. The blades are manufactured and shipping straight from Montana. Montana knives carry a multi-generational warranty and free lifetime sharpening. They're designed, tested, and built by hunters. MKC is a hunting knife company first and foremost. MKC is unmatched and have the sharpest knives out of the box and the easiest knives to sharpen. It's been really fun to watch a company explode as one of the fastest growing companies in the knife space. Don't be fooled. They're still a small company and just hired their 55th employee and are looking to hire about 50 more in the next year or so. So if you live in Montana, tell them Cam sent you. MKC knives sell out within minutes of being released. So head over to montanaknifecompany.com. That is the best way to find out when they have knives available. Use code CAM10 for 10% off your first order. My favorite blade is a Blackfoot 2.0. Montana Knife Company, working knives for working people. One thing about your meal prep, Wayne yesterday, I said, "Did you run this morning?" He had to go in early, so he didn't run. But he said he's getting fat.
Yeah,
yeah, he did.
He said, the Rivets are making me fat. He goes, I said, "Oh, it is that homemade syrup." He's like, "No, I don't eat. I would never eat that." But he goes, "It's just too much." Like meat, and it's like it is too good, and it's Yeah,
Wayne's going back for seconds and thirds.
Yeah. He's not really complaining because it's so good, but he's just eating more than normal.
Yeah, he's like, they'll be gone in a few days, and then we can get.
But man, he burns it, from morning to night. He doesn't stop.
He's a busy guy. He goes all day.
Yeah,
he needs that. He needs a little more muscle on him now. Yeah.
We've been eating ribeyes, I think, almost every day for the last.
Goodness, ribeyes for $4.97 a pound. I go buy them every day at Fred Meyer's.
Really?
It's insane. Yeah. You're paying $5 or $6 for a big, thick ribeye.
Yeah.
Whoa.
At home, that's 30. That's $30 at home.
Yeah. Well, it was expensive here too, but they have their weekly sales or whatever. I went in there to get other stuff, and I looked at him like he had already bought some. I was like, I'll just buy 2 more packs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can't. It's tough to beat a good ribeye.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wild game pretty much all the time, but I won't turn down a ribeye for sure.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, I was like, I need steaks. We picked up some of those, and I was like, he's like, what do you want to do for supper? Like the additives on, like the sides, and I'm like, I think we had some farm fresh eggs. I said, I think I just want steak and eggs for supper. That's what we had was steak and eggs for supper.
Hey, how about that bear that we filmed where you got your first bear, that white-faced sow that came in?
Crazy how old she is.
She's walking in and we're like, holy, she's flipping old. She's old. I've never seen one with a white face like that. I know. And she's walking like she has a bit of arthritis.
Yes.
Like you can tell.
It reminded me.
She starts eating and she's got no teeth.
Did you ever see the movie Pet Sematary?
Yeah.
It's Stephen King, and it's like, so I think their dog got hit on the road, and they took it to this like an Indian thing is what it was supposed to be. Buried it, then it comes back to life, but it's kind of like rotting a little bit. So that's what she looked like.
Yeah,
looked like
totally.
A bear died. Somebody buried it. Like, okay, at least she'll be back, but a little bit kind of off.
Yeah.
So she looked like.
So on a bear like that, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And like this fall, I'll be baiting that bait again until they den up.
Yeah.
And I'll be checking on her. And if she's there and she's not putting on weight because of no teeth, we'll have a hunter take her. And we don't shoot sows, but when it's that old, that bear's probably 30 years old and it's going to die. Like,
never seen a bear that old.
Yep.
That is crazy.
That's a nice thing about reaching out to those new baits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they get really old like that, they can't eat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a hard time, and then they get picked on, and then that one old, where were we at? Where did I call her? Bertha. That she had just scars all over her face and chunks out of her face.
Fighting everything that comes in.
Just a mean old thing.
Chasing everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that big bear come back to that bait?
No.
The giant one?
Not yet. So maybe this fall, next spring for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a camera there with a cell camera.
We were hunting a giant. We figured 500 pounds maybe, and disappeared on us.
We screwed it up shooting that other big bear. Basically, as soon as if you're hunting a giant, you shoot something else, you're making it hard to kill that giant.
Yeah.
Until next time or on a different bait or next year.
That makes sense.
So, that's fine.
I don't know. All I know is our...
I like it when those big ones make it.
It's
nice to get them, but it's nice when they make it because it's something you're hunting. You're after that bear every year. And so sometimes when you get it, it's like a letdown almost where, it's over. Now.
Yeah. Well, those genetics will spread, and then next year it'll just be bigger.
Yeah. I know.
If it can it's like a Volkswagen Beetle
that
walking into the bait.
That thing is huge. Yeah, we gave a good effort.
It did show up. On
the other bait.
On the other bait.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah.
So that was was that 3 miles away or so?
Yeah. 3.5 miles.
Yeah.
And that was, all the sows were there. So.
I know that bait was busy with sows.
Holy moly.
Jeez, they were going crazy that night.
Yep.
Then I killed that boar off of it. So
that was nice.
That's why.
That was a fun night. That was crazy.
When there's sows there, and like some people are like, "Well, it's a big old sow. Could we take her?" And I'm like, "Well, we don't want to take the sow, but if the big sow is there, usually the big boars come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the bigger the sows, the bigger the boars. And like, well, I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I can't explain it.
If there's not one there, she'll go get one.
Yeah.
They'll
find
travel.
one.
The sows will take off and they'll go find one and bring them back.
Yeah.
They want to be bred by the dominant boar.
Yeah, they do.
You'll see them going in and out of the bait and walking in all the trails. And it's like, there's one where I sat quite a bit this year, in and out, and just walking all the trails, looping. And then she'd come sit and she'd sit on a log and just kind of like look around, go do her walk again. Then she brought in like about a 7.5 footer. I was like, that's what she was waiting for.
What's the key to killing big bear?
Patience.
Patience and being ready.
Yeah.
When one comes in, you might not get everything perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It might just
your
walk
key to
straight
success
through.
is you're always ready. She's holding her bow like.
I try to just sit all night so I don't, because I know the more times I have to move something, it's more times I'll fail because it's just whatever. I don't know. It's not luck. It's just what happens. Your bow clunks or your arrow clicks or your Velcro or whatever. So I'll kind of sit there ready.
Yeah.
Especially there's certain times I'll read kind of the activity of like, okay, here comes the sow, you know, whatever, and we've seen on camera. Then you're just ready. And then as it gets later, it seems like that last 15, 20 minutes of the evening, you just got to be ready. It's like on standby because you know something's going to happen.
Being alone helps too. Being there alone.
Yeah.
Only one smell, one, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes a consistent. I'll sit at my bait consistently. That's all I'll do.
You start jumping baits because I didn't see anything tonight. I want to go somewhere else, and you keep moving. A lot of times you can go home with nothing doing that.
Yeah.
If you know there's a big one on one bait and you spend the whole week on them, usually you'll get them.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time.
Yeah, I think people too. I mean, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but you get used to the sows being in there, and you get used to you can get away with a lot.
They do. Yeah.
And then they think they can get away with the same amount of thing when the boar comes in.
I know.
And the boar comes in, they haven't been in.
Yeah.
You know, so they can. You're right there.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yep.
You know, they probably circled and already smelled you.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can just do jumping jacks and shoot it. I mean, you can't.
Yep.
Just because you could get away with it with a young sow.
I know. I have to keep reminding hunters because they forget because they're seeing bears coming in and bears don't care, right? So
And it's like open a chip bag and cough really loud.
zippers.
I remember.
Slow.
I can't remember who it was with. Somebody was with us when I killed that last boar, and somebody was like in their backpack looking for batteries for their camera. I can't remember who it was. And like,
Who could that have been?
I don't know who.
John.
Oh my goodness.
Who was that?
Did we make it that night on battery power?
Freaking Gideon. Yeah, I think 6 minutes left. Is that what it was? Yeah. So. Yeah, he opened up the Cheeto bag before we got there and put the battery in the Cheeto bag. I guess I don't know where else it could have been because he was making a racket. But yeah, you can't. Those boars, they won't let you get away with as much as the other bear usually.
Yeah.
Especially
They're
bigger,
older.
Yeah, older,
been
bigger,
around.
wiser.
Yeah.
They've played that rodeo before and they're like, something's off.
Even the one I killed, I mean, how long it was in and out. I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
You know,
and circling at the back there trying to figure out stuff.
and they don't like giving you their side.
No. The one last year was even worse. Eh?
Yeah.
He didn't want to give us a broadside at
No.
all.
Oh, yeah.
You drew 7 or 8 times on
I
him.
know.
Yeah.
And I hate, I'm not going to force it
No,
on bear.
never.
That people think, oh, it's right there. How can you screw it up?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You don't hit a bear right, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty particular on waiting for that angle. And like that bear this year, he was facing us like they do, you know, because it's almost like this brown bear right there. You remember how it wouldn't? It
Oh,
wouldn't.
man, he's facing us for a long time.
Hours. Yeah. And I was
Straight on.
Yeah.
And he would take a couple bites and he would start chewing and he would be side to side looking for something else that's coming. It's like, how can he be so nervous when he's 9.5 feet because there's 10 footers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or remember when he ran off and it's like, oh shit, what's coming? This is going to be a 10 footer.
Yeah.
And it was a black wolf.
Oh, I know. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, ran him off.
What a special night that was. But yeah, it just goes to the point that they really hate giving up their side until, I don't know, either you sat there and they're more comfortable with it and you haven't screwed around and moved too much.
Yeah.
And that's what it took. And I think once the light starts dropping down, they feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, they do.
Because when he first came in, it was like an hour and a half before dark.
Yeah.
It's pretty bright. And they're used to moving around in the dark.
Yeah.
And they like it.
Yep.
And so when it got a little lower light, he was more comfortable. Then he kind of turned and
Yeah.
I think he was sitting when I shot him, wasn't he?
Yeah, it is.
I don't
Yeah, and he had
remember
his.
that one.
Did he have his leg?
He was
I
like
think
this.
he went like this.
With the tree, and he was like this on the tree.
Yeah, his arm
Yeah.
was up.
Yeah, he was.
Kind of opened up his lungs.
Yeah,
so I
he
was
was
just like, there we
distracted
go.
a little
I'll have
bit.
to watch the film when
Yeah.
it comes out. I don't remember what happened that night.
Oh, no, it's already out, isn't it, James? Weren't you supposed to have that done already?
Yeah, I posted it the day after it happened.
Yeah, James has been pretty busy.
You guys have been busy, man.
Oh, my.
Non-stop.
I
All
can't.
over the country.
I don't want to.
You just got back from filming again?
Yeah, nobody cares about how busy other people are, but it's been a grind lately.
I can't wait for that film. It's going to be good.
Oh man, it's it's an important film too, because it's that human trafficking is such an issue right now. People aren't really talking about it or don't know about it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I can't wait for it to come out either.
Yep.
But it's hard work.
Yeah.
Tell you what, long days. We were there the other night for 15 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a grind.
That's a grind.
I would rather run 100 miles than stand around for 15 hours.
Yeah.
But that's just how the movie business goes, I guess, because they got to, just setting up the lights can take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just getting the perfect. They told me the other day, they're like, okay, here's a scene from 7 that we kind of want to emulate. And it's like, see how the light comes in here. There's a guy sitting at a desk like this. Light comes in here. It was like kind of like gray, like slate kind of light coming in. And then from this side, it was warm, different, like softer, different color, like orange light. And they said, this is what we want. So it's like, I was like looking at it going, God, I wouldn't even have noticed that.
Yeah.
But no, see how it's off the watch, it's blue. I'm like, okay, I get it, but that takes a while.
Yeah.
To get that mood, the mood that they want.
Yeah.
It's they're good.
Yeah.
They're definitely good, but I didn't know all that was what was entailed in making a movie. Now I'm learning, and it's hard.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait for August to be here, which is coming fast because I can start baiting bears again.
I know.
We can bait 2 weeks before the season opens. So in spring, it's nice because we can bait 2 weeks before season opens, but season opens April 1st when the bears are not even out. They're not out for another few weeks.
So you got more time,
we can bait
essentially.
in March, basically, yeah. So fall, 2 weeks before we start baiting, and we'll feed them. Even if we're not hunting them, we'll feed them through the whole fall till they den up.
Yeah.
Make sure they're going in healthy. And
nice.
We'll make sure the sows are
lots of babies.
nice and healthy. So this way they'll carry more into the winter. And
people are like, why would you want to spend that kind of money feeding them all fall? Like, we'll spend $20,000-$30,000 this fall feeding them.
Well, that could get that old sow with the white face another year because she can't, with no teeth, she can still swallow the oats.
Yeah.
And that's good protein.
Yeah,
That's going to help her in the winter. So that might get her another, who knows, year or two where on her own, trying to eat enough with no teeth, it'd be tough.
Yeah.
And it's part of management, the way we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it on purpose just for the sows. Yeah. In my brain, it's mostly for the sows to make sure they go in and they put on lots of fat so they can keep those cubs. Because if she's not fat enough or she's unhealthy, they won't attach and they won't grow.
Right.
So, and that's why you're seeing 3, 4, and sometimes 5 cubs at a bait because the sows are
so healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now when you see one with just one cub, we're like, I watch her for a little bit and I'm like, she's a crappy mom. She should have had more because she's fat enough. But there was one this year that was a crappy mom just leaving her cub in the tree and taking off and not coming back. I was like,
it's a good way for a cub to get killed by a boar.
And the boars are coming in and looking because they're crying in the tree and they're waiting. So it's not a Winnie the Pooh scene.
No.
There's nothing.
And you never know who's going to listen to this or if they're a new listener, but how that works is that a boar, which is a male bear, will kill the cub so the sow comes in heat again. If she has a cub, she's not going to come in heat. But with no cub, she could come in heat, and then that boar could breed her. So that infanticide, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's just what boars are ingrained to do is, hey, you kill cubs so you can pass your...
His genetics long.
Yeah.
Well, the lions do it.
Yeah.
All the cat families do it.
Right.
I think most predators do it.
I think, I don't know how many people know about it. Most people that have heard us talk, we've talked about it, but we're getting new listeners every day. So it's
we're going to add
goes.
another dozen new spots this fall for bears. So for next spring, they'll be hot. They'll know where they are and they'll be coming on there. New bears that have never seen people.
How's you got a lot of hunters booked up for next year and a lot of interest?
Yeah, pretty well. Everybody that came this spring is rebooked and bringing more people with them. So
awesome.
Yep.
You guys are
good.
I mean, business wise, you guys are killing it. But it's also so much work to set up, to get that bait, to get, and even I don't think people realize that those roads, a little bit of rain on those roads, it changes everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard on
People
your
don't
equipment.
get it until they see it themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
oh, this is bad mud.
Yeah, they're like, oh, mud? What is that a big deal?
Yeah.
That mud is.
That mud is.
Yeah.
That's hard to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but you're so far back and it's such, I mean, we're 40K back.
Well, from that furthest bait where you hunted, south, and to the furthest bait to the northwest, it's 5 hours of driving.
Yeah.
And we're going to go further,
We're going to go further.
Yeah. So it's in the middle of nowhere, basically. But
3 point something million acres of country, of bear country.
But just in that mud on the equipment, just keeping your equipment running
my gosh.
is a full-time job. And
Yeah, my truck's been clunking in the front right now, and I checked it, and it's one of the U-joints in the hub there is gone.
Hammered some leaf springs. What
Yeah, I
else?
got 2 broken leaf springs in the back. Got to change those.
You redid
Yeah.
all the Polarises again.
Yeah, so hunting deep comes with a price.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's what makes you guys unique, because there'd be a lot of, I can't speak, I don't know an outfitter that I'm talking about, but they would say we don't need to go that far back there. There's plenty of bears in close. But the more options you have, then you can dial in where the biggest bears are and take the right bear. So it's like you guys, your goal is what, 60 baits or how many?
Yeah.
Is that what it's going to be?
Yep.
So out of 60 baits, and you had 30 hunters, you're going to pick the best bait with the biggest borers. And you could, if you're just filling tags, you could do that probably just off one of those main roads, you know, and you wouldn't have to go 40K back. But that's not your business
we
model.
want success. We want the biggest bears. We want raving fans.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the theory is all the things that are within the controllable area, the baiting. You can't control the weather.
Yeah.
You
No.
can't. I mean, you do your best to keep the equipment up to par, but stuff happens, flat tires, whatever. All the controllables that you can do, you do to your best of ability. I mean, we baited a lot, and I mean, we stacked it so that they were happy. It was like them going into a honey hole with everything in it.
Yeah.
But all the controllables as much as you can, and then weather and stuff, you just got to roll with it. And you have to have plan A, B, C, D.
I get a little grumpy when the rain comes because I know what it's going to do to the machines.
I know.
We're going to break
I
stuff
bet.
that I'm fixing, and
Yeah.
Then somebody needs a little it's gonna be okay.
I need a hug and some love and some Jesus.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's it's so much work. I so much respect for you guys. I do want to say though, it's probably the best bear hunting I've ever experienced for black bear for sure. But it's not guaranteed. I just want people to know that you're going to see bear. I can pretty much promise you're going to see bear.
Yeah.
But if it's just a big boar, it's never guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have the weather, you have boars roam. So don't sit here and think that you go up there, you're 100% going to get a big boar. You'll see bear, but still it's hunting.
Yeah.
Your Texas hunter, he wanted to get home quick because his daughter was doing something.
Oh, graduating kindergarten or
From
something
Texas,
like that.
And he killed with you on the first night, a 7.5 footer, giant bear.
He's like, I says, you want? Oh, okay. I think I know where we're gonna go. I go sit with him. He says, so what do you think? I'm like, oh, I'll just because I had seen what was on the camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And then another guy was bugging, and I'm like, why do you think we went and sat there? It's because it was his first bear. He wanted a good bear, and he shot a very
Some
good
of those
bear.
baits, we don't even need to have a picture of a giant bear. We
They
just
just-
know
it's a
you just know what's living there. And you know how many sows are there. A boar's going to come.
In some areas, it sounds corny, but it seems like it's a travel corridor. Like
There
whether
is,
it's a big
definitely.
ridge or whatever, there's certain places where bears are always moving.
Yep.
And there's some of those that they're always moving in that you can
Where
just
they like to hang and congregate for mating.
or where food and stuff is too.
Yeah, and you guys know these areas because you've been up there for 25 years now.
Basically, the success of a bait is what's behind it. What's
Yeah.
back there?
What
How
is-
much
what it's
country is
pulling
behind
from.
it? What can it
Yeah.
pull from? Or if you got another bait right away close to it that you're killing them from both sides, so you're going to hurt your population.
Yeah.
There. Whereas there's always country back there that goes into nowhere where it's not being touched.
It's hard. Like we used to do that same thing on Prince of Wales, but it was more visible because you could see the big draw.
Yeah,
So you'd
yeah.
see like, oh, this is pulling from miles and it comes all the way down to this creek that comes to the ocean. And so we got, oh, we're going to pull there. Up there, you can't see that, but you guys know it from the maps.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so you guys know where it's not as visible as like a mountain ridge in a basin.
Yeah.
And pulling down that draw, you guys know where that is. And it's the same thing because when the bear congregated, the boars know, oh, I need to, that's more of a likelihood to catch a hot sow,
Yeah.
you know, in this area because there's more bears. So they love moving through those corridors. And you guys have learned where those are.
Yeah.
And then at the baits, they travel in and out of the baits. So whatever smell and scent, I mean, they're checking like that one sow I was talking about a while ago. She would walk way out and they check all the trails to see who's been marking because they have their marking trees,
Yeah.
their branches or little trees that they rub over and stuff. So they'll go and they'll travel far because you'll see bears sometimes.
Just
Seriously,
like a whitetail checking his scrapes and his
Yeah.
rubs, same thing.
like 10, 20 miles away. You're like, this can't be the same bear. It is.
Yeah.
Giant boar looking around. He's taking care of his girls over where he was or whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to call it. And he's just roaming to see like, hey, where am I going to travel to?
Remember that giant 8-footer we saw? You and I were sitting there
Oh
and it
my
started
gosh.
coming in. And
Yeah.
I don't get nervous or anything with bears. And I was shaking on that one just because I thought we're going to kill him.
I know.
And then we never seen him again.
We didn't.
I think he just showed up on a bait.
We think we saw him.
Really?
Giant, over 8 foot bear. Like 8.5 footer probably.
Walks in and it's like here on his
insane.
chest is at the barrel and he's just like looking.
It looks like you could put 2 barrels in him.
People need to realize these black bear are bigger than most grizzlies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're giant.
Yeah.
You know, the average mountain grizzly is like 6.5 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
So these black bear are much bigger than that.
Yeah.
You know, they're not brown bear size, but there's definitely some brown bear that have been killed the same size as these.
Yeah, true.
You know, they're giant. It's not just your regular black bear, but it's because of how remote it is and the work you guys have done in basically building up this area. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, we like the big sows breeding with the big boars. It's just genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's genetics. It is.
What's what tips could you give to people coming up there to prepare? Like, how could you best prepare to be ready when that opportunity arises to hunt with you guys?
Shooting from the position that you're going to do at the site. I mean, if it's a tree stand, practice shooting from a tree stand. If you're going to be shooting on a chair, sitting on a chair, then practice shooting on a chair because most people haven't, and they get to like, oh, I better try shooting from a chair and see what it feels like because it's a whole different.
Well, and just your setup. Say if you're sitting in the stand, have your stuff. Like I get OCD. I have all my stuff placed. If I sit in the stand by myself, everything's got its spot. Everything's opened. You know, thermocells ready. Everything's ready. So you don't have to do all those baby movements. And on the ground, people think, well, we're on the ground. We can move more. No, and it takes me a couple minutes. I'm noisy when I first get in there and get everything set up, but then I don't have to.
Right.
You know, mess around with it.
Open the bags of Cheetos with a knife first. I'm all ready.
I only had my
or cheesies.
Yeah, they're Canadian cheesy that are really, really good.
Well,
but anyways.
And I like spending the time on making the blind too, because you can make that gives you a little more leeway on movement. You get some brush in between you and where the bear are going to be. But.
And I like to put spruce in it because it's the natural smell. And then I'll sit if I'm in a stand, I just play with the spruce branches and I'll break the little because it's a natural cover.
The smell comes out so good.
Yeah, it helps because some people say they use the scentless soap and all that stuff. They may have, but their clothes or their cologne that they put on, I'm like, don't wear cologne in a bear book.
Usually their first night of hunting with a new crew coming in on Monday, the first night of hunting can be tough because they're coming in with all those smells from the city.
New smells.
They got cologne on, they got perfume, they got airport smell, everything's on them. And they haven't been baiting with us either. So once the guys come baiting, here, grab a beaver and hang that beaver.
That's one thing too. The more you play with into the baiting and helping, even if it's just moving stuff, that smell gets on you a little bit. It'll probably go home with you too.
The guys
but the
that
bear
come baiting
are
are
more
going to
familiar
do the
with
best because they get bait on themselves too.
Well, that's why Cam sits right in there. He's like,
well, I mean, even so, if they're helping you bait, their scent off your hands and different things are, so the bear are going to smell that person because they're so good at. I mean, you've seen a dog that just stays on one spot and it's like reading all this information.
Totally.
Bear, same thing. So it's like, even though if
you smell spaghetti sauce, he smells every ingredient.
The rosemary, the salt, everything.
Yeah, what I would say to your point about preparing to shoot, how you're going to shoot on the hunt, it's like some people, I mean, a lot of people hit their leg with their cam sometimes because they're like this. They're not used to where to put their legs or anything. You got to either sit on something, sit in a chair, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, because you might not be able to stand up. You might be able to stand up.
Even drawing your bow, it's
I have one other thing too, is the type of broadhead you use. We've had some over the past, 15 years or whatever come up that use just like a 2-blade and there's no cutters or anything on it.
If you're going to lose a bear on a bow hunt, it's a 2-blade
just
broadhead.
Because
you need
the way the hide, the meat, the fat goes, it'll slice in just like if you stab something with a knife and you pull it back out, you know how it'll sandwich up.
Especially if you shoot an animal at an angle and the skin is moved this way. And then when he moves back, that skin goes this way and closes the hole.
We had one
of those. It's not so much that the fat, people are like, the fat closes it up.
It's just
the skin will.
It's the skin, and like there is fat, and then there is hair that hair absorbs some blood. So if you only have a slit from a 2-blade head, it doesn't take much.
Like
it better be dead within 20 yards, 30 yards.
Every bear I've killed has been with a drone. Just a 3-blade fixed blade. Never had any trouble with blood. Never had any trouble with looking for it. It's the 2-blade that I was like, some people have used expandable this year and it just cut like giant hole. And I mean, if you don't hit bone, it's going to go right through and it's, there's no really tracking.
You're happy
right
with
there.
that expandable you used this year?
Yeah. It's, I mean, be tough to.
A lot of people use them.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do a counting coup on a 2-blade head. You'd be a little iffy.
Be iffy. One guy used an expandable though, and it went how did it do? It went through and it nicked a rib and then it lodged on the other side. So the air stayed in, but it didn't get the big hole because it hit bone as it kind of went in. So you had a little bit and it was just tiny bit of blood coming out until it finally, the bear actually finally hit the high shot too. Finally hit the arrow and the arrow popped out. Then we got a little bit, but that was
a long tracking job.
That was a long tracking job.
Yeah.
We did find it.
And also it's like, the ground that they're in, it's not great for blood trailing.
No.
I mean, it sucks up blood
This
too.
was muskeg, and
it
that
rained.
moss has little red dots in it already.
Oh, so
Like,
tough.
is that blood or is that?
I know.
And we had sprinkling that night, sprinkling the next morning. It was a more wet season this year.
It was good to put out all the fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I do think that, yeah, I mean, those big heads for sure make a difference, cutting a big
Are you
hole.
using a 3 or a 4?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think with bear, it's, you know, you're going to be close.
The hole was bigger than a shotgun slug.
Yeah.
It was a giant hole.
Yeah. And they're tough. I'm saying if you don't hit those things right,
Yeah.
and in that country especially, you got a log and blood trail. They're hard to find.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
hands and knees looking for pin drops sometimes, and a couple prayers, and then it's like, okay, then you find a pin drop, and that, like that one bear, one of the
I
first
know.
weeks.
And there's
Holy
nothing more
smokes.
disappointing than,
No.
I mean, if the prospect of losing an animal
It's
is
so hard on the
terrible.
hunter that night when he goes to sleep, and we got to go back in the morning to look again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our one guy, I don't think he slept. He was a mess. He's like, I can't. I'm like, hey, we're gonna do our best.
Are you going to have a drink of elk blood?
Oh yeah, I'm busy talking like normal. I haven't opened it.
Was that the bear at that bait we were at that went like 400 yards?
That one was one of them. Yeah, we had 2 this year that were just.
Yeah, that one went 400 and something yards and then came back, did a big loop and came back and was 250 from
Yeah.
Jeez,
stand.
blood trailing 400 yards up there. That's a long way.
That was a long time.
That
I mean,
was a
because
long
even
time.
even 100 yards, it's
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's not like you can see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's thick country.
And at one point when we were tracking, when we were just doing the trails, trying to find a sign of something like I'll look for where the ground's turned up, because when they haul butt and run out of the bait, they turn up ground or a broken branch or something. So we were doing that, and I found some, and then we got to one point, and I was like,
Yeah, you
I
were
do, I
tracking.
smell them, but I can't. There's no way to find them. So we did that whole big loop, came all the way back.
You always
around.
smell them. On those 3 that we should have lost this year that we got, you smelled all 3 of them. It's like,
Nice.
They say that's maybe why I can smell and taste, cook better food. I don't know.
Probably.
I can smell it. Like if I can smell what's
Yeah.
in there, I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's whatever.
More
but,
sensitive. Yeah.
but I could smell it, and I'm like, I know we're close. Where is it? But it was all dead fall and just thick stuff. How do you find it? Then that whole loop, when we come all the way back, went back to the bait and started all over again. And I was like, okay. I prayed a little bit, and I'm like, then I found a drop of blood. I'm like, okay, we're on the wrong trail. Went and said where he went like this. He didn't go this way, but it looked like he did. He went this way. So then you started tracking him. Then we finally found him. We got close, and I was like, I smell it again. I went and stood up high on logs, and I'm like, I can smell him. We start going, they're going, and I'm like, he was right there. I bet you were within 25 yards of him.
Yeah. And
Like
but
3
it's so
hours
thick.
before. Yeah.
It's so thick. It's like even 25 yards.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. So I mean, I just think it's a great place. I love bringing new hunters up there. Like I brought Joe up there.
Yeah.
We have Andy. Didn't he book?
Andy's coming.
He's not a new hunter,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
no, he's bear hunted. I don't know.
gonna be
Has he
fun.
killed a bear?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
But I know he's pumped.
Yeah, he's pumped.
Andy Galpin. But yeah, it's just a great place. But also, the reason why I like to bring people up there is it's great hunting, but
Yeah.
also you guys have so much. Well, it's hard earned confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, people can feel like they're being, it's I don't know. I just have a lot of confidence in your guys' ability and your hunting skill and even blood trailing and just the whole thing. It's like a lot of places that I've been, it's like, well, they're good at this, but could be better at this, or they're good at this and you guys are the best at everything.
Thank you.
When it comes to bear hunting. And so it's
Take
like,
pride in it. We want.
for me, it's no risk. It's like, yeah, this can be good hunting. Now these people are like, what? There's nothing. It's like all positive.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I feel great.
We want people to succeed. We want them to have a good trip. And maybe at the end of the hunt, they don't have an animal that they came for, that they want to go home with. But everything else, we want it to be, like I said, the controllables.
Yes.
We want the food to be excellent. Like Julia's doing most of the cooking now when I'm out guiding, and food is excellent. We try to keep everything good. We've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
This is this will be year 37 for him guiding. He started when he was, 4?
Yeah, he's 41 now.
Yeah.
Look at that hair. The hair looks thicker. What'd you do?
Yeah.
It's getting pretty gray.
The old silver fox.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, so I mean, we'll have all the links or whatever up for you guys' pages on when I make posts for this. But best way to find for people to reach out, what, Instagram?
I'm easy
Right
to reach on
now,
Instagram. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
most. I'm on Instagram all the time, so it's the quickest way to reach me. I never check emails. Jen does.
Johnny
So
Rivet and Jenn
message
Rivet
me
on
on Instagram. You'll find me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Our website's getting revamped right now, so saying that is kind of like
Okay.
Yeah.
frivolous. So
We'll go Instagram,
Yeah.
but yeah, and you probably have a waiting period. Do you? I mean, are you guys booked up?
We've always got hunts sold like 3 years ahead, but there's room every year. There's room
Yeah.
for a little bit every year. So
Okay.
Yep.
All right. To
and
the highest
sometimes
bidder.
if they don't mind putting, one guy into a new place, or you know what I mean, like on a group, because you'll have a group of like 4 or 6, and then there's like 1 spot or 2 spots. So we try to juggle stuff around so everybody can fit good, where they don't feel like they're a lone wolf on a different team.
Just as long as I'm the only one during my week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
No, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Do another podcast. It's always great to talk about bear hunting, and
Yep.
I just
This
love.
was a quick, short one, but we got to get on the road and get to
I
Salt Lake
know.
City
Yeah.
from here. So
I know it's good. It's I wanted to talk about bear meat and just how
It's delicious.
misunderstood it
And
is.
what's the word? I don't want to make it sound like you need to do all this stuff to the meat to make it good. You can take a piece of, one of our hunters last fall from Texas, like, do you guys mind if I cook tonight? It's like, yeah, I'm going to cook my bear. And he killed 2 bears, and he cut the back straps, and he cubed them, and he fried them in a pan, and he put them in a stew. My goodness,
Yeah.
that was
Good.
better than any beef I've ever had.
Yeah.
And that was just quick. Boom.
So it doesn't take
No.
like a week of marinating.
No.
Yeah.
That's just my special thing that I
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
do just for a highlight.
Yes.
So, like in bear camp,
gonna
I'll
be
do the
tender. It's
ham,
gonna
and then
be
I'll do a
tasty.
backstrap stir fry, or just the backstrap, just steak.
So good.
Just season it and do it on the grill. Simple, so you can taste whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that way people are like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. You don't have to spend 4 or 5 days on it.
But
I
when you
just-
do, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I can't wait for next spring. And
It'll come fast.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Thanks for having us down for Lift
All
Learn
right.
Shoot.
Yeah, it was
Love
awesome.
you
It was
guys. Thanks.
awesome.
Great.
Thanks. All right. Keep hammering, guys.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my feel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the few endure. Feeling like